Once upon a time, there was a powerful king named Alexander who ruled over a prosperous kingdom. He was known for his wealth, wisdom, and cruelty. People whispered that he made deals with the devil and sold his soul to gain such immense power. One day, a young woman named Eliza approached the king with a request to lift a curse that had befallen her village. The villagers believed that a demon had taken possession of their crops and livestock, causing widespread famine and death. The king, intrigued by the challenge, decided to take on the task himself. He set out with a small army of knights and sorcerers to the cursed village. When they arrived, they found the villagers huddled together in fear, and the fields were barren. King Alexander immediately set to work, performing incantations and casting spells to drive the demon out. But as he worked, strange things began to happen. The wind howled, and the sky darkened as if a storm was brewing, but there wasn't a cloud in sight. The king's men reported seeing ghostly apparitions floating around the village, and many of them became ill with a mysterious sickness. King Alexander was undeterred, and he continued to work tirelessly to lift the curse. But as he did, he began to feel a sense of unease creeping over him. He heard whispers in the night, calling his name, and he felt cold breath on the back of his neck. One night, as the king slept in his tent, he was awoken by a blood-curdling scream. When he emerged, he found one of his sorcerers dead, with a look of terror frozen on his face. The king was shaken but undaunted, and he continued with his mission. It was then that he learned the true nature of the curse. The demon that had taken possession of the village was not just any ordinary demon, but a powerful and ancient entity that had been summoned by a group of villagers who sought to gain control over their enemies. The demon had taken control of the village, and the king realized that he was the only one who could stop it. King Alexander locked himself in his tent and spent the night in deep meditation and prayer. When he emerged the next morning, his eyes were blazing with a new kind of power. He strode into the village and confronted the demon, engaging it in a battle of magic and will. The fight lasted for hours, and the villagers watched in awe as the king and the demon clashed. Finally, the king emerged victorious, and the demon was banished back to its realm. The curse was lifted, and the village returned to its former prosperity. But the victory came at a cost. King Alexander was never the same after that day. His eyes were always shadowed, and he was haunted by the memories of the demon. He ruled with an iron fist, and the villagers whispered that he had made a pact with the devil. They said that the king was possessed by a dark and evil spirit, and that his soul was forever damned. Years passed, and King Alexander grew old and died, but the kingdom was never free from the shadow that he had brought with him. The villagers whispered that his spirit still roamed the land, seeking revenge on those who had dared to defy him. And to this day, the kingdom is known as the Kingdom of the Cursed King, and people still tell tales of the horrors that he brought with him.